Tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Talk is here. It is ready. As usual, Omar Carmona joins me for a in-depth Sunday Night Talk. We talk Thanksgiving. We talk NFL, most watchable game, least watchable game, wins for his and my team. We'll get into it. Not to mention we wrap it up with the awards and beyond. Before we get to the episode, though, if you're new to the channel, please give it a subscribe. Please give it a subscribe. Click it. It helps the channel. It grows. We need to grow. Just like the NFL, we need to grow. We need endless growth. Well, let's start with a subscribe. Give it a click. Also, there on the channel, you will see links to all my videos, stand-up and beyond. So, what's going on? If you want to see me doing live stand-up comedy, I have December dates for you. December 8th, I will be at Zombie Joe's here in North Hollywood. December 10th, I will be at The Good Night in Burbank, California. And December 17th, I will be at the Glendale Room as well. So opportunities to see me in December. If you came out to the previous shows at the Hollywood Improv, I thank you because those were great shows. More coming up too. So on to the show. It's week 12. The season is in full swing. What does that mean? That means teams are hot. Speaking of hot, quite possibly the hottest take ever given is on this show. I don't want to ruin it, but yes, we went there. Not to mention a little Thanksgiving talk as well. Carmona is centered. I am here on a Sunday night talking football. So let's not delay. Here is the Sunday Night Talk for week 12 right now. All right, it is 8:38 West Coast time. It is the Sunday Night Talk. Omar Carmona joins me. It is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and the season is here.
Good Sunday. Interesting Sunday.
Omar Carmona joins me on a Sunday night like he does every week. We just wrapped up Green Bay at Philadelphia. A very entertaining game, I must say, even though it was lowly Packers against high-flying Eagles. Just wrapped it up. Now, I don't want to jump the gun, but did Mike Tirico at some point call the start of the Jordan Love era? I don't know if you caught that.
And you know what? I did catch that, and that was going to be what I wanted to open up with. It kind of seemed like you kind of got this feeling that Tirico and Collinsworth wanted to be the ones that were part of history, you know, that same way that Brett Favre came into, the Packers lore, coming in for, Majowski.
Yeah.
But it kind of seemed like that. And I was kind of thinking, do Packers want this to be the start of the Jordan Love era?
Let's just start Jordan Love and Packers. I already joked that the Niners luckily fell ass backwards into avoiding a quarterback controversy. Have the Packers done the same? Aaron Rodgers is got a broken thumb, a busted rib. He's already got the dead eyes. I don't know if that's a medical condition or not. But now the Packers can like, hey, Rodgers, you're injured. Let's give Jordan Love some reps. And now there's no love loss. Right. So maybe they have accomplished what they set out to as well.
And they're 4-8, right, Patrick?
I think so.
I think the Packers are. I mean, at this point, you're likely not going to make the playoffs.
Right.
At this point, I don't think you really want to rush if you're Aaron Rodgers and you do want to play next year. Okay, if that's on your radar, then I don't think you want to rush back into the bull ring out there. And let's get ready for next year. Kind of like the same things going on, with Stafford in LA. You want to rest for next year? If you want to come back and play next year, or do you just want to leave it all out? So who knows what Rodgers is going to want to do?
Yeah, they're 4-8 now. Yeah, now that does become an interesting question of if Rodgers wants to play next year, which I think we can say he does. Does he say like, hey, yeah, give him some reps, but I get the spot next year? Now that puts Jordan Love in a difficult position. Well, good thing we both know that Aaron Rodgers is an extremely understanding player. Good thing that'll work out for him.
Right,
No
exactly.
problem.
So, I mean, how much longer do the Packers want to be held hostage by a, an aging quarterback?
You know what? You know how I always ask for, like, we always need a camera on Aaron Rodgers. We almost had it tonight. Do you notice how much they cut to Aaron
Oh,
Rodgers?
they love it. They love Aaron Rodgers.
And Collinsworth secretly has a crush on Aaron Rodgers. He loved Aaron Rodgers and
He
Collins.
loves Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's just Collinsworth just loves the history of football, and I think obviously Aaron Rodgers has his place in that history, and I think Chris Collinsworth is very appreciative.
I think Collinsworth might be at peak Collinsworth right now. He's calling stuff. He's calling like where they should have went. He's calling defensive things. Almost think he's taking over the whole game.
We're on the same page because I was thinking today, he looks old to me. So now he's like senior member status of the NFL. I think
Collinsworth, yeah.
Now. Yeah.
I might go like, let's get just for a game. Like, let's get Tirico out and let's put Collinsworth's son in there. Let's see how that goes. Let's have a little fun with it. Like, there's going to be a Sunday night dud game maybe next week. It's Dallas Colts next week. Let's have a little fun with it. Let's get Collinsworth and Collinsworth's son. Let's get Collinsworth and friends.
Okay, I like it.
Coming into the booth. Why not, right? Yeah. Well, let's start with Sunday night. We got a Sunday night. Doesn't look good on paper. Eagles get off to a hot start. They're up 14-zip. And all of a sudden, here comes creepy broken thumb Rodgers and starts slinging the ball all over the place and running too. And we have ourselves a game to enjoy Sunday night.
Yeah, it was actually a good game. And I think what the halftime score was 20-20 or 23-20, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a close game. It was 27-20, I think. But it was competitive and there was a good rhythm, and that Philadelphia run game, they're good. I mean, that's something you're gonna have to reckon with if you're a contender.
Yeah, that's true. We should have known this game really could go only one way when Philadelphia is racking up 300 plus yards on the ground as well. That's really just sort of the boring underline, but most important story is like just Philly is just killing that offensive line game. They are making holes. Hurts seems to, is Jalen Hurts the perfect RPO quarterback out there? It seems like he has mastered that.
Right now, yeah, he is.
Yeah. And then, but Rodgers and them were feisty. They were very feisty. And the only thing I'm bummed out is I really wish Jordan Love would have had a final possession. Let's just see. Let's just see if we can grow the myth.
We almost had it. That was not a. They were sweating it at the end. The Eagles were.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that. So Philly gets the win, and now I think the entire NFC East in particular is just throwing heat. Washington, Philly, Dallas. Dallas beats Giants, of course, but NFC East there's a lot to talk about there. Well, let's stay with Philly for a second right now. They wore the black uniforms, which I hate. And they're on a Sunday night, Sunday after Thanksgiving. But now they are, what are they, 9-2?
Yeah.
No. 9-1.
10-1.
10-1. Okay. Philly 10-1. Let's just pose the question right now. Are they the best team in the NFL?
I don't think so. I don't think I would call them the best, although I think this was definitely one of their top two.
I gotta say that if we're gonna pick a game, I'm like, this was a very telling game. Like, I think they might be number one. This is the game they would state their claim at it, I think.
Yeah, but man, there's just so many good teams out there. Kansas City, Buffalo, Dallas, Minnesota, the Niners. I mean, they're my Niners, but they're in the conversation now. So we'll see.
Let's go. Okay. Let's rank some teams right now. We got Dallas, Buffalo, Miami, San Francisco, Minnesota, that I think all are threats. And in Philly. All right. So let's go 1 to 5. Number one arguments are going to be Philly, Buffalo, KC.
Minnesota.
You're throwing Minnesota in the argument, okay?
I'm throwing in the back end because Dallas, beat the tar out of them. But Dallas is in the running.
Okay, so number one team in the NFL. Are we arguing KC, Dallas, Philadelphia?
I'm going to say KC, Dallas, Buffalo, Philadelphia.
KC, Dallas, Buffalo. Wow, you got Dallas over Buffalo. Well, shoot, this is tough. This is tough. We have like 5 teams who could be the best team in the NFL right now.
And we do? And I wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers can beat any one of those teams. So
you're back on your Niners.
I'm back on the Niner. Not back on Jimmy G. I'm not back on Jimmy G.
Okay, wait. I talked to you earlier. By the way, I have some thoughts on my FaceTime that I tried to achieve with you earlier. Okay, well, let's go Niners. How many weeks ago was it where you opened the show with the season is over and you're like, it's done, and you're all down in the dumps. Yeah. And now you have pulled a 180 on your team, and now you're feeling your team can beat anybody in the NFL?
We're going to go as far as Jimmy Garoppolo is going to take us, and that's why. I told you on the FaceTime, I will apologize to Jimmy Garoppolo. I have said some horrible things about Jimmy Garoppolo. I may have offended him and tried to smear his honor, but still he's gonna. We're everything is on Jimmy G's shoulders. He was great today as far as not throwing interceptions. Oh, that touchdown pass was a lucky bounce off what could have been an interception. But again, we're gonna go as far as he's gonna take us. That's all I gotta say about that.
Okay, so you're not apologizing like you were going to earlier.
No, I'm sorry for being ugly. How about that?
This is a non-apology. This is like, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry you haven't lived up to everything. You are so hard on Jimmy G. I think you're deep down, you are scarred by that one Super Bowl loss, or maybe you have some psychological problems with like fully devoting. Maybe you have commitment issues.
Maybe, but I we'll see. I'm just not sold, and but we'll see what happens. Again, but with the defense playing the way they played today, they can make a run.
Let's go with big picture: Dallas, Washington, Buffalo, Miami, San Francisco, KC, Minnesota, all won this week. It was like everybody's flexing this week. Minnesota, Dallas, Buffalo all get the Thanksgiving. Do you remember a more exciting Thanksgiving slate of games ever? All 3 were games that I felt like I had to watch. Buffalo goes down to the wire. Dallas just strutted. Dallas was just dominant. Yeah. And then the evening game, Minnesota, Kirk Cousins is eating turkey legs and talking about getting a grill for his teeth at the post-game interview.
It's a crazy 10 days for a guy like Cousins. It's like a big win, then a huge loss, and then a Thanksgiving win. So he's definitely had that roller coaster couple weeks.
It seems like Kirk Cousins might even be a cockroach too. Like nothing, just keep throwing everything at him. Nothing's going to affect him. Like he's going to come back and he's going to joke around like nothing happened week after week. So right. That, and then Washington, I don't know if we need to have a talk about Washington. Washington is getting hot. Washington might be last year's Cincinnati. I don't want to say it. I don't think that's possible, but they're hot.
Yeah, it's going to be, I'm not going to get into it until we get there, but Hot Takes is going to focus on the quarterback this evening.
Wow. All right. You have a hot take chambered?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yep. One more point on big picture. Also, Thanksgiving. Quietly, one of my favorite holidays because there's no presents and it's just eating. But I don't know if it's the best day to even watch football because you end up just watching games in and out of it. So it's a fun football day, but it's kind of sneaky difficult to even watch a game.
Right. Absolutely. Give me 1 second. You said something that turned on my Siri real loud. I don't know what it was. Siri, music off. Okay. You started something over here.
What did I say?
I don't know. It was kind of paranormal in a way, but you were talking to my Siri and she turned on over here. It scared the shit out of me.
Oh, I might have. Yeah, I saw your face turn. That's what you were doing?
Yeah.
Been the word sneaky. Maybe that sounds like you're like Siri. I don't know. This show might be haunted.
Maybe. I mean, the kiss of death is in the show.
What are we to think? Aaron Rodgers is injured. Washington is winning games. Like, would that be that weird that all of a sudden our Zoom video is now haunted?
It could be. So go back to your Thanksgiving point.
Okay, my Thanksgiving point is like we actually don't end up watching these games. You're rushing to somebody's house or you're setting up stuff. Games are on in the background, and you just sort of pop in and out and watch these games. But you don't really know what's happening. The Jonas Brothers are playing halftime show at one of the games. So while it's a perfect football setup, you don't really watch them.
And by the way, I'm going to go out on a limb here and just keep your thoughts to yourself on this one. I didn't mind the Jonas Brothers this time around.
What do you mean? You're a Jonas Brothers fan?
I thought it was a good performance. I think it was decent.
Yeah. The Super Bowl has a specific halftime show, but so does Thanksgiving, or the Dallas one at least. Like, yeah. I always know that they have a specific halftime show. We don't watch any halftime shows on other games.
Right.
Wow. Secret, good booking Thanksgiving halftime show.
Yeah.
Jonas Brothers.
Yeah. It seems that there's just a lot going on, but I think sometimes even like eating too much really affects the football watching.
Yeah.
Like you sit there and like you want to go to sleep. At least I do.
And then if you're yours and my age and older, you forget there's a Thursday night game. You're like, oh, there's Thursday night games. How long has this been going on? 12 years. You're like, oh, right. Jesus.
Yeah. Right.
I always forget the Thursday night game. What's the food spread? What do you do for Thanksgiving? Are you going over to our house or do you host?
We went over to my in-laws, and we had a great meal. But yeah, the whole spread is, turkey and stuff. I'm very simple. I only like 3, maybe 4 things on my plate. I don't like I'm a meat, which is turkey or sometimes some great places have ham. This year I did not have a ham too, but turkey with some gravy, stuffing, mashed potatoes, bread. That's it.
Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, bread. That's a very simple plate. Yeah. So
very simple.
All right. Well, what did you cut off? Cranberry? You cut off
cranberry, yams, green bean salad. I cut off mac and cheese. I've cut off all that stuff.
Really? Purposely, or you don't like that stuff?
I'm not the biggest, maybe because I think what it is I really, really like mashed potatoes and stuffing. So
yeah,
I maybe just want to, focus on the things that I really, really love. Not that I necessarily hate the other stuff. It's just I really love the other stuff.
Wow. But you can part with it, it seems. You get the plate, you get the 4 things, and you stick with that.
And then I feel like it's okay. I can maybe cheat on an extra slice of pumpkin pie.
Okay. Yep. You got the dessert coming.
Did 2 this year, 2 slices.
Oh my God. You were going to have to get so centered again.
Yeah.
This is going way out there. Where are you on, like with me, like, you get the food coming, like, oh, we're going to eat it, 2, 3 o'clock or whatever. And then they're like, okay, we got the appetizer spread. I end up eating a full meal of appetizers before the meal itself too.
And this year, no appies. We went right to dinner, and I actually liked it a little more. Yeah.
Jeez, I don't know how you did that.
Yeah, this is the first year I've ever done it. No appies.
What about
right to dinner?
What's the drinking situation going on at your in-laws? Is this Temptation Island for you?
No, not at all. The ladies had wine. and Dana's stepdad, he's not a drinker, but they had wine, and also I was just having Coke Zero and water. That's it.
Wow, jeez. This new Carmona is a different person. It almost feels like in the movie Face Off when Travolta and Nicolas Cage change bodies. I feel like someone else has taken your body.
Yeah.
what is
Crazy.
what is going on? Like, aren't you tempted by drinking? No, I drink water. What
Yeah,
is this? What is this Carmona?
I like it.
You've turned a
I
corner.
don't care. Don't yeah, I could go without it.
And then you did the 2 pieces of pumpkin pie.
Yes.
And then do you feel bad that night? The next day, does your stomach hurt? Do you feel like you have to work it off?
I did after the food, I had a late night yoga session. Kind of got
Really? Where
oh
are you
yeah.
squeezing this in?
Yeah, late night yoga. I did about 30 minutes there and I went to bed real nice.
What is this? I don't know what this is. You're doing late night yoga and
Yeah.
you do the
Uh,
solo yoga, right? You just do it in your place and you follow a instructional.
yeah, follow trying to put it on my iPad and I put it on I have to move it sometimes depending on the kind of workout it's going to be, but it's off my iPad and I get a good workout in. I love it.
Jesus, I can't understand this. I do not understand. I'm halfway convinced the real Omar Carmona is locked in a box somewhere.
Oh,
You've taken his life and his family.
it's great.
Wow, this is strange. This is very strange. I ate and then I feel horrible like that night, like I can't sleep. And I'm like, oh yeah, my stomach hurts. I ate too much. And then I end up snacking. You end up like snacking on random stuff in the house. Just, I don't know, for 6.5 hours straight.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, it also kind of seems like you should maybe leave a little room for that because isn't eating the best time filler on Thanksgiving too?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can kind
What's
of
your conversations like at the Thanksgiving? Because I run out of topics in about an hour 15. There's only so many times I can say I still own the same car. Work is fine. How's the weather?
well, I can honestly say this too. What's so weird about Thanksgiving is that I think people carry on, buying all these different foods and preparing all these things. You spend more time in the first, several minutes of Thanksgiving just passing plates around. It's like pass this, pass it. Oh, I forgot this, I forgot that. Oh, I got to get the gravy. Oh, you know what this needs? Needs a little pepper. Let me go up and get it. Well, you get me a fork.
Hmm.
It just seems like there's so much carrying on to lead to the actual grub, and then once people start eating, everybody's quiet.
Yeah, that's true. That's the first quiet moment. There is a lot of just movement on Thanksgiving. It's like, and then if like, I'm here, I'm having it with my family and stuff. And you know my dad. My dad is kind of a hyper guy, but you put the more people that are in a room, he accelerates his hyperness tenfold with each person. So my dad is king of like wanting to know if you need a refill, even though he just gave you a refill 7 minutes ago. He will interrupt a conversation to ask if anybody wants drinks. He's just a hyper guy. And I did an Instagram picture of my dad today. My dad never sits down. He will not sit. Everybody will sit at a table. He will stand. And I put the picture out and I'm like, if there's a game on, he will not sit. There's no talking to him. He won't ever, the words will not get to his ears. That's just how he rolls. He's a little Tasmanian devil.
I think I'm very alike in that area. It's so hard for me to sit down.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is. I know he will never change, but he's a hyper guy. Like he will watch TV for 2 seconds and then yell out and scream. He does this one that he did today. The Packers like scored a touchdown or something. They kicked the extra point, blah, blah, blah. And then NBC does a replay of the touchdown. And my dad goes, "They scored again?" I'm like, "Dad, it's the replay." They just show it's in slow
Yeah,
motion.
that's
But
awesome.
like information doesn't go in as well as he kind of expresses out, but that's how he is. It's just how he rolls. So he's a hyper guy. Unless you have anything else on the big picture of this week, one more thing to put a button on Sunday night. Aaron Rodgers did a lot of face acting today. His face
Yeah.
is so funny, even though his eyes stay the same. He's always shaking his head. He's always rolling his eyes. And then the other thing I like, and I might want to implement this some way, somehow, I like that the Philadelphia Eagles did a Christmas album. Did you see all that video of the
That was pretty cool.
singing?
Kelsey's got a career after, after
I
NFL.
like that. I
Yeah.
like that. They're singing Christmas in like a professional audio type of recording. And I almost would say, let's go one further, is they should do like a reading of like A Night Before Christmas. And like they can each be characters in the story. And like, let's keep going with this. I'd listen to that, wouldn't you?
Right. Yeah,
I liked it.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
I liked it. Why don't you and I do a reading of some sort of a Night Before Christmas or something that has two characters? I think we can nail that.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Well, the season is here. I don't know how you feel about Christmas, but
Let's do it.
it's here. Are you a Christmas guy?
I like Christmas a lot.
Really?
I'm a big Christmas fan.
Okay, big Christmas guy. Wow, secret holiday guy, you. All right, let's tackle the slate of games today. You know, our next category after the Sunday night game is most watchable and least watchable. I oddly cannot think of one because there were so many good watchable games this week. So I don't even have a most watchable. I'm going to give it to Chargers, Arizona, because that was a close game.
I mean, that was a close game.
That was a fun game.
The afternoon slate was pretty good. But yeah, I thought Chargers, Arizona's a sad team. That team really,
God, they are sad. That's the best way to describe them.
They had a good thing going on last year. I think they got to turn a lot of heads. The sky looks like, the sky's the limit for Kyler Murray. Cliff Kingsbury's getting this young genius talk, him too. They have been a disaster of a football team this year. We're writing them off. They're done, but they need to think of some serious changes. I would be surprised if Cliff Kingsbury comes back next year.
Yeah, they are a sad team. Just disappointing. If you could give the overparenting award to a whole team, maybe even a whole organization, it might be Arizona this year. I've been watching the Hard Knocks in season too, and it just seems excruciating to try and get a group of players up every week. Like they try hard, they practice, they get on the plane, you got the equipment there. Everybody's like, let's go, let's do it. They lose, and then you just got to start over on Monday. Like, guys, let's go 1 week at a time. We got everything we need right. We got to stick together, guys. It just seems so excruciating, exhausting to try and build up a group of grown men every single week. And I'm with you on Kingsbury now. Like, I used to like him, and now he just comes off as like a pompous, arrogant, too big for his own head, douchey guy. Like he's walking around showing his open space house in Arizona.
Right.
Just looks like a museum, and he's got like pictures of lions on the wall. Like, why do I not like this guy? Why is this guy turned me? And Kyler Murray is just sort of hanging out. Colt McCoy is the only thing likable on this team.
Yeah,
Very difficult.
I agree, but they're it also seems, and I hate to say it, but when you lose a leader, a cornerstone for your community like Larry Fitzgerald, you don't realize how important a guy is like that, even in the locker room. A leader just, there's no leaders like that anymore.
Yeah, that's true. They don't have a veteran leader. They're all young. They're all just essentially just running off their own talent right now.
Right.
And it's sad to watch. I'm getting sad watching this. You get to watch the in-season Hard Knocks, and you get to watch them just be disappointed on Sunday. Sad team, that Arizona. Sad team award. We don't even have that award. Here's a potential least watchable. Let's just go through the early games. Chicago at the New York Jets. Zach Wilson is in street clothes. And the Jets put up 31 points on the Bears. No Justin Fields. This is a sad game too.
It's a sad game, but Fields has been playing well as of late, and obviously, but the way Fields' game is, his body is gonna, it's gonna be hurt. He's gonna get hurt. He plays so physical, but at the same time, the Jets, they just look like a much better football team today with White in his quarterback over Wilson. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Wilson goes out, and they put in this guy where if they both wear their helmets, he actually looks like Zach Wilson as well. And the Jets get back on track, and now the Jets are good, and they wore black uniforms as well, which took me 15 minutes to figure out that was the Jets. So Jets are back. So, but now we can play this game during the season where you have teams under 500. Sell me on next season of this team. You could say like, okay, this was a growing season. They got a new coach. They got a new offense. Okay, they're just getting their growth. So I think that's what you could say about Chicago this year. Like the quarterback is good. It's the coach's first year. All right, we're growing for next year. Is that the stuff for Chicago?
I think this they have potential, and I think they're going to reach some heights in the upcoming years. I really do.
Okay, so this is one of those years where you're like, wait till next year, Chicago team, because
wait till next year.
Okay, the Jets are back on track.
Detroit, wait till next year.
Okay, next game, Cincinnati at Tennessee. Cincinnati wins 20-16. Has Cincinnati perfected the art of the midseason run? Are they getting on a run now? Because this was a good Tennessee team they beat.
Again, and it looks like Cincinnati's got their number, does it not? So,
right.
So maybe they're getting locked and loaded for another run.
Yeah, and they're also that team where nobody's talking about them. You know, they can just rattle off these wins, and you just say, "Whoa, look at this, Cincinnati!" They don't have to be in the media. We're not taking little quotes.
The Titans are a division leader. Okay, so Cincinnati took them down without Joe Mixon, without Jamar Chase.
Yes.
Excuse me. Yes. That's huge. That's to have arguably your two best players out and still beat a division leader. That's impressive.
Funny, we didn't even say Cincinnati when we're doing our quick top 3.
Yeah, maybe they're
teams.
Ask me in 2 weeks.
I'll give them a 4. Looking at just records and stuff, I'm like, I think they got to be 4 at least. Tennessee, a little bit of an alert. You know, we're like, alert. Tennessee, a little bit of like, we're on shaky ground here. Like, you rattle off another loss next week, we got trouble. They need to rebound. Derrick Henry ran fine, but it seems like if a good team comes in, they're going to give them a hard shot. So a little bit of a downward tread for Tennessee this week. Cincinnati gets that win. Houston at Miami. Miami wins 30-15. Miami, king of the 30+ score every single.
What do you think? Is it because the Texans are really bad, or is Miami really good?
Man, have we been asking this question for 2.5 months?
It seems like it.
Why do we not want to like Miami?
You know what? I think now we can like. I like them. I don't think I really hated on them, but they're up there. They're in that conversation. I think they can roll. They can hang with some people. So I'm not too impressed. Although that 30-15 final score, that wasn't indicative. It was a blowout.
Right.
All the way. I mean,
they've had a few games like that where they just dominated the whole game.
Yeah, and they dominated the entire way. It was over after the second, somewhere in the second quarter. The game was over. Okay,
right.
And so, but Miami's good, and I think they're this year's Cincinnati.
They're 8-3. Who's their division? Miami, New England. Oh, Buffalo
Jets.
And Jets. Okay, so all of a sudden that division, someone's going to go worst to first in that division somehow. Someone's going to be second place and be out of the. So, you got to be 8-3, but everybody's winning that division. Yeah. Miami looking strong. So they're 8-3. And for somehow, same thing with Cincinnati. We're not really talking about them. I don't know why. Maybe it's just so many teams are good this year.
And then you got a team like Baltimore. Let's go to the other morning game. Baltimore doesn't look great against Jacksonville.
We've said that this year, though. We do not trust Baltimore.
And this is now like the 4th or 5th game where Baltimore's surrendered a commanding lead and only to lose a game. I think that's a reflection on Lamar Jackson. Hey, man, you can't close these games, you know?
Yeah.
So you're asking us for big money. We'll pay big money, but you got to close these.
It would be funny. Remember he held that sign up at the end of a game that said like pay me, or what was that sign he had said that it was like pay me my contract or something like that, or offer me a contract.
Right.
It would be funny that, or after a loss, the GM in the luxury box has his own sign and he holds one up and says, you are not a top 5 quarterback. Or he writes like, we'll pay you the same amount as Joe Burrow. Or it's like, how about making it to the conference championship, ... once.
Yeah.
How about a little rebuttal sign from the GM in the luxury box? What do you think?
I like that. I like that. That's a good one.
How about a little quick pro quo?
There you
I
go.
was a little bummed when the Baltimore misses the 67-yarder for that win against Jacksonville. I thought that would have been cool if that had been the new
Like a
record.
walk-off. Yeah.
The walk-off new record. I didn't see how much he missed it by, although just know it was short.
Yeah, it was
Well,
short. You need a lot of leg.
is Jacksonville just the ultimate spoiler all year? That's just what they're going to do, right?
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think there still remains you know, Trevor Lawrence's development. Let's see what happens. They're going to need to put some more weapons around him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture a world in which Jacksonville is good. I can't picture it. Like if Jacksonville is going to go to be a threat for a conference chat, I can't see a world where Jacksonville's good. I don't know why. It just seems un-American that Jacksonville can be in the playoffs consistently. Let's
We'll see.
continue. This was an odd one. This is a head scratcher. Tampa Bay loses to Cleveland in overtime. Brady
Crazy.
comes off Germany a bye week, and they lose in overtime to the Browns, who have had some really bad looking games. And somehow Nick Chubb goes nuts in this game, and they win in overtime.
Njoku did really well today. It was an impressive win for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the Browns looked impressive in this game, which is
too bad
strange.
They can never, as a franchise, just can never string, put up that kind of performance consistently,
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we're getting at with these Jacksonvilles and Clevelands is, yeah, you can win a game every now and again, and then we all think you're good, but like, can you put 3 together? That's the harder part.
Kind of like the way you also feel about the Raiders in a way. Like
Raiders are definitely in this category. They do the stat. Every announcer does the stat where they've lost 6 games by 6 points or less. And you're like, yeah, because they're bad. That's what bad teams do. Yeah, they lose close games.
Right.
The same thing with Denver. I saw the stat where like if Denver had scored 18 points in all of their games, they'd be 9-1. Like Jesus, man.
That's historically bad.
Denver might be the worst team in the league.
That Texans team has a great argument for that. That Cardinals team, Broncos. Those are my bottom feeders. Yes.
Oh, what about this idea? Although I don't think I thought of this idea. You know how the NBA has a lottery for draft picks, but what about this? The 2 worst teams in the NFL after week 17 have to play each other, and the winner gets first pick in the draft.
That'd be interesting, huh?
What about that? Or like maybe a consolation bracket for picks 1, 2, and 3. I mean, in today's NFL, it'd be impossible to pull off, but no tanking. You can't tank.
Oh, I like that. Let's maybe we'd be having the college football playoff debate.
Yeah, we would get back to this debate. You're right. Only other thing with that Cleveland Tampa Bay overtime, I don't think I've witnessed an overtime where each team had like 3 possessions. The ball went back and forth like 10 times. It was really weird. I was like, oh, okay, no, Tampa Bay punted. Oh, Cleveland punted. Oh, Tampa Bay's got the ball. What? Cleveland's got the ball again? I think each team had 2 possessions in that overtime. Next game, Atlanta at Washington. Wait, before I go, are Tampa Bay playoffs, yes or no?
they're gonna win their division, but they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna go very far in the playoffs, but they will win their division. They are gonna. How about this? They are gonna host a playoff game.
Yeah, like a home wild card playoff game.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. It's going to happen. God, I wonder if they're going to win or not.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Host a wild card playoff game. I think that's going to happen. Atlanta at Washington. We are talking about Washington. Are they good? They're 7-5. 7
They've
and
won,
5.
they've won 5 of their last 6.
They're sneaky good. Another thing was like this team's going to spoil somebody, or this team could be. But Cincinnati, who was my other go on a run team? Washington. This could be the third one, like the go on a run team.
We were ready to. They were one of the first teams we were ready to write off.
We wrote them off, didn't we?
We did.
Jeez. They beat Atlanta, which apparently everybody does this year, but Atlanta is king of the weird scores. 13-19 is this game. Yeah. Washington gets the win, and we move on to, well, okay, never mind. Here's my least watchable game of the day. Denver at Carolina.
Oh, bad game.
What is going on in Denver? And then I'm watching this game and I'm like, oh yeah, Darnold's on this team.
You got defensive linemen coming off the field to yell at the quarterback. That is like, have we ever seen that before?
It's coming apart. It's coming apart. I think we're this close from a punch thrown. Like, what's the over under on a punch is thrown on the Denver sideline before the year is over? It's ugly.
It's new ownership. The new ownership, they kept John Elway, right?
I don't know. I don't even know. I'd imagine we would get shots of John Elway if he was there, because this is almost sad to watch. We're like, how high were we on Denver how high were we on the AFC West before this season even started? Denver, oh, Derek Carr, oh, the Chargers, Mahomes. And now it's just, oh, Chiefs, that's it. Right, Chiefs, maybe Chargers. We'll talk about it, but
yeah, but no, you're absolutely right. We were high on that division, and they've been disappointing.
From an amateur GM standpoint, okay, give me a strategy for Denver next year. They can't trade him. They can't trade Russell Wilson. This is the first year for the head coach. Like, they got to double down and keep going with this, right?
They do, but they're going to need to draft a quarterback. I'm thinking high.
This year with the contract that Russell Wilson has?
You gotta start developing this guy, and maybe Russell Wilson would not be a bad mentor if he'd want that position. But kind of like ease him into maybe year number 2. Sometime year number 2, he's ready to start and take over.
Gosh, I do not see that. I do not see Russell Wilson wanting to mentor anybody. Do you?
I don't either, but that's what should happen, I think.
I think Russell Wilson is the Shia LaBeouf of the NFL. Just crazy talented, like put him in the right situation. You're like, this guy's awesome, but he might also drive the whole production off the rails. You're not
a Russell guy.
Well, I'm just talking this year. Like, what is going on with this guy? Yeah, he might be crazy. He might be like thinking like, what am I doing 5 years after I retire? And you're like, Russell Wilson, we have a game tomorrow. We got to be thinking about these things. He might be nuts. He might be thinking about running for Congress.
Let's see. Yeah, for sure.
I'm giving him the Shia LaBeouf Award. Okay, I'm just going to rattle through the Thursday games because I went a little too fast. Buffalo, Dallas, Minnesota, all win. Anything interesting about Buffalo, Detroit? Detroit somehow gives them a game.
They gave them a game. And so I think we can very much appreciate the effort that Detroit put in, but again, I think it's a team going in the right direction. I compare them a lot to Chicago, in my opinion. But I think it's not much to report there. Buffalo, it was a game, but it was a game they should have won, and they won. So good for Buffalo.
Giants at Detroit. Dallas goes in there, and if the coach were to say, like, we got to handle our business, like this was a handle your business win. Dallas is going to pretty much winning the whole game. Daniel Jones looks like Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he wasn't. I thought he may have held them back a little bit, the Giants.
Yeah. I think Dallas like really showed some like I get nervous with Dallas on a primetime stage. It seems like they fall flat a lot, but not this Thursday. And then lastly, New England at Minnesota. Mac
That was
Jones
a
looked
tough game.
good.
Yeah,
Mac Jones looked his best game
that was
yet.
that was a tough call. I don't know how you felt about that call at the end, but hey, it was close and it just didn't fall.
Remind me, that might have been between mashed potatoes and a
Oh,
serving of
just
pie for
a
me.
catch. That Henry, Hunter Henry had a basically a touchdown. They called it incomplete, but he caught it and
Oh, right, right. There was one of those in the Buffalo game too. What was the weird one? It might have been the week before. Where like I don't think we're ever gonna figure out what a catch is. At this point,
at this
we've
point,
talked
yeah,
about it.
right,
I
right,
was telling someone this. Okay, say they change the rules next year to the referees. All right, you catch it 2 feet down, catch. And they say, okay, great. No, we have seen too many versions of a catch. We can unsee it. We will never
right.
be able to to put all these pieces back in the box because we have talked about a catch so much. We have to breed a team of referees on a desert island and just show them ideal football. And then when they become 21 years old, they become referees. That's the only way to do it. We have to keep them away from the modern world if we're ever going to define a catch to someone new again.
It's so crazy, especially when they do the slow motion on those plays where the receiver's hand is scooped under the ball, but
Right.
at the very end, you see like this little flinch on the ball. It's like, oh, did the ground help it? It's like, you're crazy. I don't know.
And then idiots like members of my family, as soon as they watch any replay of a receiver, they say the words like, "Did he control it?
Right.
Did he make it through the ground? He's got to make it through the ground." And then we start arguing with a mouthful of pumpkin pie. This catch rule is breaking up families, and I'm sick of it.
Okay. I like it. So it's politics, religion, and the catch rule. No more at the Thanksgiving table.
That needs to be said. No talking politics, religion, and the catch rule.
Okay.
Keep that in mind for Christmas, everyone. Late games. My Las Vegas Raiders go into Seattle, and for the second week in a row, a walk-off overtime win. This is, like I said, this is just fun for me now because they're 4-7. I'm not under any delusion that they're going to make a playoff run. So I'm just having fun with it. But I did get nervous when Derek Carr goes down and is clutching his ribs. And I'm like, oh, great. Not only are we having a bad season, Derek Carr is just going to have a career-ending injury. And this is how you're going to go out. Yeah. But he came back. We got lucky. We got lucky on that one. Little concerning for Seattle here. Seattle, are you running out of steam?
It was a little weird. But hey, I was happy. My 49ers are in control of the NFC West right now. So
wait, hold on. I'm not getting off. Okay, yeah, NFC West, right? I thought you were trying to just bypass my Raiders win.
No, it was a good win, and Jacobs was very impressive today.
Really good.
And so good, yeah. They ran the football well, and Carr didn't make many mistakes. So not a bad win. Too bad we already wrote him off. All right. Right?
Yeah. I wrote them off. Like I told you, this is just fun. We're just having fun now this season. If we get a win, great. If we get a loss, I'm not going to worry about it. Can I tell you my hopes for my FaceTime with you when I FaceTimed you? First of all, you started this. You're texting me pictures of you watching the game, watching the Raiders game, and you're writing like, OT, Seattle has the ball. Uh-oh, OT, Seattle punted. And then you write this one, watching the game, relaxing. And I'm like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to FaceTime Carmona, and he's going to put his phone to the TV so I can watch the game via FaceTime. And you're just like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on in the game, man? And you're like, OT, anything could happen. I'm like, show me the goddamn game, Carmona.
Good, but it was a good game. And but you would have enjoyed it. But what a Josh Jacobs over 300 yards all purpose. That's only been done, I think, less than a handful of times.
I might need a Josh Jacobs jersey if I'm going to get ahead of myself and look towards next season. I'm Josh Jacobs jersey at the top of my list.
There you go. And that's a football that could go to Canton. Who knows, you know?
Ah, the Raiders. God, if we had just won those 3 games we were blowing out Arizona, we're up on KC. I'm leaving out another one. If we just won those games. They did show the division standings during that game, and they got the division rankings as well. And it says Denver's at the bottom, 0-2. And it says Raiders 2-2. I'm like, well, we won 2 divisional games. Oh yeah, they were both against the Broncos. I forgot.
Nice.
Like, oh yeah, that was that win. No problem. Always play the Broncos. Chargers, Arizona. We talked about sad Arizona. Best part of this game, and I flipped on this one. I thought it was dumb at the time, but now I'm 100% behind it. The Chargers are down 7. They score a touchdown. There's like 15 seconds left, and they're like, fuck it, we're going for 2. Give us the win or nothing. And I'm like, just play for overtime. Your offense is awesome.
Yeah.
Then I thought how much I hate overtime. I'm like, yeah, go for 2. Figure it out on the field. Overtime is so screwy that I really respect. They're like, we're doing it right here, right now. They get the 2-point conversion, and they beat Arizona, but Chargers are strong. Chargers look good today.
Not bad at all. So very impressive. I was impressed.
Are we talking about a road wild card Chargers win potentially or more? Like, how far can they go?
I think they could do something. They could do well. Let's see. Again, I've always been high on Herbert, so he could do it. He could do it.
And also, Eckler seems like he's figuring out a new angle of his game every single week, whether it's catching it out of the backfield or the strong runs or sitting in the zone. Like, that Eckler guy gets better all the time. It's almost like he's too nice, though. Like, he takes his helmet off and he always looks like he's kind of confused. It's almost like if he had chains on or he had a hard look on his face, we would think he is more dangerous. He looks too nice, but he is a good weapon for Herbert.
Yeah, he is.
All right. Go ahead.
No, I like Eckler a lot, and just another thing with the Chargers, they've been, they're bitten by the injury bug. So, when this team is healthy, they're good.
Los Angeles Rams at KC. I wrote a note saying this game looked good in September, and we got the Rams who fought pretty hard again, but oh yeah, it's KC, and like I wouldn't mind if Mahomes just got the MVP right now, and we can end the debate because it's just going to be Mahomes.
Yeah, it's Mahomes. It's his year.
Mm-hmm.
He probably when you think about it, more impressive. He's doing this without Tyreek Hill. We thought that was going to be a huge problem for him, but he's proven I don't need him.
God, how crazy is going to be if KC has to play Miami in the playoffs?
Oh my gosh, that'll be crazy.
I love a revenge game.
You do.
That would be good. Like, this is one of those rare ones where both teams seem to have won in this transaction. Miami's good. KC loses them, but they revamp and they're still good.
Right. So we'll see.
Okay. And now let's get to your game. San Francisco at New Orleans. You still won't apologize to Jimmy G, although you're back on your team's bandwagon. What did they shut out New Orleans? How is this possible?
It was the 49ers defense. Now, look, we had a problem scoring today. The offense just, they would make plays, but then they would just fall flat, in the same drive. So the offense needs to work on some things. But when you have a defense like that, it was great. I'm going to go crazy here. We haven't had a defense like this since the 80s.
Really? We're talking Ronnie.
We're talking Ronnie Lott, Charles Haley, those years.
Yeah.
The 49ers, when they've had runs, deep playoff runs, obviously through with Jim Harbaugh about 10 years ago, and then obviously Kyle Shanahan's had some good runs. Secondary has always been suspect. It always seems like the secondaries are Achilles' heel, and this year it's a good secondary. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see what this Niners defense can do.
God, you are just like having just the best weekend. Just like your team is good, and you're just like you're not even worried. You're just like, I like to see what they can do. Man.
I'm doing yoga after Thanksgiving dinner.
It's gonna take a lot of yoga for you to get on the Jimmy G bandwagon. Also, like Jimmy G, it's like I was watching this clip on Instagram of Jimmy G and a few players go to a Golden State Warriors game. And at some
Right.
point, all the cheerleaders of the Golden State Warriors go over and say hi to Jimmy G. I'm like, what musings of a good-looking man? Like everything is just handed to you, right? If you're good-looking, everybody just sort of like asks you how's it going. Everything you say is funny. Everything you do is right. Like what a life! What a life! When I come back, if I come back in a second life, I want to come back as a hot chick. I want that to be my life and just get dinners and shit like that, get to ride around fancy cars. And I think Jimmy G has milked the good looking smile for all it's worth.
I think so too.
What a life. Maybe that's why you don't like him because he's just a too good looking of a guy.
I think that could be it. That could be it. But
Man,
again, with that defense, we'll be okay with that defense.
man. So your San Francisco 49ers, they were in Mexico last week. Who goes to Mexico and in the week following they look better?
Oh,
So
one Arizona coach went to Mexico and didn't come back with a job.
that's the Mexico trip we all were expecting. Is
Right.
the get yourself fired from Mexico? What
And of
happened
course,
there? I know what he groped a waitress or something.
something like that. Like it was serious enough that I think she reported it to authorities, and the Cardinals probably did him a favor by just getting him out of the country. But yeah, not former UTEP head coach. So
Is that right?
yeah, he was the former UTEP head. He was the one
Jeez,
before this one. Yeah,
jeez, bad week for our hometown college.
not good.
Hey, if anybody should be able to handle a Mexico trip, it should be somebody from our hometown, the border town. Like you can't handle Mexico. You know, they always say, some people can't handle Vegas. Some people can't handle Mexico.
Guess not.
That is sad. Hey, coaches, by the way, you ever want to hear an indictment of your profession? Coaches, we've seen this. Any one of you can be replaced after 1 week. Gruden, this coach, any coach who says anything, like you're just out, man. We can replace you. So coaches, be on your best behavior. You will be fired.
Yeah, very true.
Mexico claims another. Well, that was the Sunday night slate of games. That brings us to, well, what did we guess for? Least watchable was Denver, Carolina.
Yeah.
Most watchable, I might say this Sunday night was the most watchable. That was a fun game.
That was a fun game. You're right. That was a good watch.
All right, so that brings us to the weekly game. We've done a few of these, and this week is an interesting one I'm going to throw at you. We saw a lot of backups go into games this week. We saw Jordan Love, Darnold is back. So got a little game for you. I'm going to give you 5 teams, and I want you to name a backup quarterback to these teams.
All right,
let's see how well you do. I'm going to start with a couple easy ones. Give me a backup quarterback in history for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, Jason Garrett.
Right. Okay. So added component to this game. How many backup quarterbacks can you name for the Dallas Cowboys?
Okay. Oh, wow. But does that meaning even if they eventually became a starter, at one point they were backups?
I'll go with that. They just had to be a backup at one point.
Okay. Cooper Rush, obviously the latest. Andy Dalton was a backup. Dak Prescott was a backup. Tony Romo was a backup.
Oh yeah, all recents.
You had Henson.
Oh yeah. Ooh, the Dark Parcells years.
Quincy Carter.
Was Quincy Carter a backup? I guess he was
for one time. Yeah. Testaverde, Bledsoe, Kozar, Jason Garrett. Wow, they've had quite the share of Berline, I want to say was
right.
They've had Pallur, Walsh. I can go on and on. There's been a ton.
Remember that one year Randall Cunningham got signed to a 10-day
Brandon
contract
Cunningham. Yeah, he
and like
played.
I think he played a Thanksgiving game and like was good or something. Like a lot of people have been in that role, that Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Okay, a lot of names there. Okay, let's go to the next team then. Name me a backup quarterback for the 49ers.
In history or one right now?
Go history. Just give me your favorite backup.
Oh, favorite backup? Obviously, can't be Steve Young coming in. Obviously, that's my favorite backup.
Oh,
Not named
Steve
Steve
Young.
Young. I'll do his backup, Steve Bono.
Okay, can we go one more? Who was Steve Bono's backup?
Elvis Gerbach for a time.
Nice. Good one. Yep. That was that succession where it was like, oh, when Montana retires, it's Steve Young. Oh, when Steve Young retires, it's Steve Bono. Oh, when Steve Bono retires, it was almost like a college. It was like the seniors out. Here comes the next guy.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting. Okay, give me your 40. Just start listing off 49ers backups.
Woo! Troy Smith. Kaepernick was a backup. Obviously, Alex Smith became a backup at the end. Bethard, Ratai, O'Sullivan. These are all guys.
Rattay, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Giovanni Carmazzi, Bono, Gerbach was a backup. God, there's so many. Man,
Was Jeff Garcia backup or was he always a starter?
he was a backup. He came in as a
Okay.
backup.
I got one more in my head, although I don't know if he was a backup, but I'm sure he was at some point that you haven't named yet.
Who's that?
Jim Drunkenmiller.
Miller, yeah. Druckenmiller, I think. Yeah, he was.
Yep.
Gino Torretta. Ty Detmer was a backup for us.
Oh, Ty Detmer. Yep. That's a good one.
Ty Detmer. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. 13. You got 13 names there.
There was another one I couldn't think of right now, but yeah, there's been quite a few.
Okay. Let's keep going. I got 3 more teams for you. Give me your favorite backup or a backup for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Favorite backup for the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, Michael Vick came in as a backup, didn't he? I don't think he was.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they had him in, and like circumstance got him on the field, and he played well.
And it was like during the McNabb years, wasn't it?
I want to say it was after, but I'm not sure. But I do think he came in for no. He replaced somebody with the last name of Cobb.
Cobb.
Kolb.
And I was
Coles.
Cobb. Yes, that was it. And I was gonna name him he was also a backup for a time. Detmer was another. He backed up.
Right, he was an Eagle as well.
Feely.
Jay Feely.
Bubby Brister had backed up for quite some time.
Bubby Brister.
Yeah.
Right. I got in my head 2 more you haven't named.
Jim McMahon was a backup in Philadelphia.
That was one.
God, another a backup for the Philadelphia. Oh, Nick Foles. He was a backup.
Oh, yep. That was not mine, but yep, you're right. Nick Foles.
That's all I got.
Rodney Peete was my last one.
Rodney Peete.
Rodney Peete had a Philadelphia run. Okay, next team. Name me some backups for Miami.
Jay Fiedler.
Oh yeah, Jay Fiedler. Yep.
Scott Mitchell.
That was the only one I could think of. Scott Mitchell. That was it. That's all I had for Miami.
Yeah, that's a good one. Those are some quality quality backups.
Right.
How about this? Cleo Lemon? I'll never forget that name.
Sounds like a talk show host.
Jay Fiedler. Yeah, Pennington. Wasn't Pennington a backup there?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, Chad Pennington and Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick's been back.
Okay, yeah, we dug out a couple on it there.
Yeah.
A few in there. Okay, last team. Name me some backups for the New Orleans Saints. I have one and only one that I could think of.
I remember an old quarterback, the name of John Forcade,
Oh, nice. Good
a
one.
long time ago. Aaron Brooks came out. He was a backup
That was a good
quarterback
one.
that came in. Um, did Oh man, another backup for the because Drew Brees always was the starter there for a long time.
Yep.
Um, I want to say, did Brunell ever back up?
Oh, you might be right. He might have been a backup. That full head of gray hair Brunel.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, any other? Um, wow, I can't think of any more.
Okay,
Oh,
I got.
obviously, Andy Dalton. Obviously, right
Oh
now,
yeah,
famous Winston.
that's week to week.
Yeah, it's week to week, but yeah, go on.
I got one, maybe two. I'm not sure if this guy played for him. There was a guy on the New Orleans Saints, and his name was Bobby A. Bear, and it was spelled
Herbert.
Herbert. It was
And
Herbert.
he did. I was thinking him too, but I keep thinking that he was a starting quarterback. But
Maybe he was,
yeah,
but
he
it
was a
was
starter.
it was
But
Bobby A. Bear, Bobby Herbert. And then
maybe he was relegated, but he was a starter most of the time because Jim Everett was also a backup.
oh, you're
For a
right. He
while.
finished his career with the Saints.
And maybe honestly even okay, yeah. Go on. What was the other one?
Billy Joe Tolliver.
Billy Joe
Well,
Oliver.
the
Yep.
Saints are my confusing it, but I don't think you could find a better good old boy name than Billy Joe Tolliver.
Yeah, that was a good
Go
one.
get in there, take some snaps for us, just wrap up that third quarter. That was the backup game. Not a lot of structure to it, but I still enjoyed it. Still enjoyed the backup game as well. Okay, well, that brings us to the awards for the week. Every week we give out awards. They are highly contested, and this week is no different. I'm going to put you on the spot. You're getting the first spot on all these awards. So, first award of the week, the Overbearing Parent Award for this week in the NFL. What do you got?
The overbearing parents. What is Jimmy Jones gonna? Jerry Jones gonna sign Odell Beckham, given that he can't act properly, like he acts like a child on an airplane?
So what's your Jerry Jones's parent in this one, or your Odell's
Jerry
parent?
Jones. I'm Odell's parent.
Oh, okay.
You
And
gotta get it.
what are
You
you
gotta
what
get
are you
it.
saying here?
You got to get it together, man. Like you're gonna. This is your last payday, and maybe a week before your last big payday.
And what did he do? I don't even know this airplane
It's
story.
like somebody said that one report said that he was in and out of consciousness. So I don't know if he was on something. If that's true,
Jesus.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was just being very belligerent with the staff.
Oh my God. How Dan Snyder of him.
Yeah, fuck him.
Also, I get mad at black uniforms. Arizona, Philadelphia,
Yeah,
Washington did it today. Jets. I'm like, you have colors. You don't get to be a black uniform whenever you want. But
yeah.
Washington, like, would we have been surprised if Dan Snyder changed it to the Washington Dan Snyders? He should have tried
No,
that just to
that should
piss
have
off
been
the
that should
the
have been his
Snyders.
swan. That should have been his swan song.
I would have liked that. I was like, he wants to change it to the Washington Snyders. That would be funny. That would be right up that alley. All right, here's my overbearing parenting award, and it's a bit of a stretch, but hear me out. Washington is what, 6-5. I become the parent of one of the Washington players who has not been around all season, like I'm the absentee dad, and all of a sudden I'm showing up to games, I'm cheering for the team, I'm wearing the Suns jersey to the games. I'm the overbearing parent who gets into the team solely because they're winning. So I'm the asshole parent where the other parents are like, where's he been all year? Look who's here now with the flags on his car.
I like
I'm the
it.
overbearing parenting of the Washington Commanders.
I like that.
All right. Next category. You're kicking us off, remember. Hot Take of the Week award.
I'm going to tell you something. I told you this in the beginning. Hot take. The quarterback position. And when I say this, guys, you got to develop this talent. You got top draft picks right now. Zach Wilson, Carson Wentz, they're not playing. they're basically right now the Jets and Commanders, they're going to let the hot hand ride. So I think the hot take is we may have a Jets Commanders Super Bowl.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah.
Jesus, that is not hot. That is on fire. That is blue flame take. We might have a Jets Commanders Super Bowl. You're insane. That is beyond hot take. Well, I mean, this is my own fault. I asked you to give a hot take. That's insane.
Yeah, let me open.
I'm writing it down. We might have a Jets Commanders Super Bowl. I'm editing a breakout video, and it's going to be you saying we might have a Jets Commanders Super Bowl for Tuesday morning.
Okay.
You're insane. Hot take from me. I say next year we eliminate overtime. No overtimes.
Oh, wow.
I hate the overtime. Just eliminate it. And it's up to the teams. Like, you guys got to know there's no overtime. It's up to you. Go for 2. Go for it on 4th down, or you guys tie. Tough shit. Figure it out. I used to love the idea of overtime. And in the NFL, I dread it. I'm like, oh, whoever's going to win the coin toss may win it. It'll be over. And then we'll kind of say like, yeah, well, whatever. That was a weird overtime. So I go eliminate overtime. Hot take.
Okay.
All right. Next award. I usually just give you this, so you can give me one, but I have one for you. The Would You Rather award of the week. So if you have one, lay it on me. Otherwise, I got one for you.
You go for it.
Okay. Would you rather Jets or Giants right now?
Jets.
Easy, or did you have to think about it?
No, easy. Again, I both teams have impressed me. Both teams have improved. And again, I think having New York football teams, plural, is so interesting for the league. I think that's obviously what the league wants. But the bottom line is Daniel Jones still isn't wowing me. And this guy White, if he can do a performance like that consistently and have a defense step up the way the Jets did today, that's a solid football team.
Has that White guy played any snaps for the Jets this season?
Yeah, he's won.
Okay, he has. Okay, I wasn't sure because I know they had Flacco started off.
Yeah.
And then Zach Wilson came back, but apparently White had taken some snaps too. Okay, so there are 3 quarterbacks that played for the Jets. Okay. Jets or Giants? Shoot, I like Jets this week because they won. Who did they beat again? I already forgot.
The Giants? The Giants lost to the Cowboys and the Jets beat the Bears.
That's right. Okay, how much of a quality win is that Bears game for the Jets?
Not great, but here's the thing. The Jets have lost those weekend games before against weekend teams,
Yeah.
And so, but the fact that they were expected to win and then they dominated, I think that's all that matters.
Okay. Jets or Giants? All right. Well, let me make a devil's advocate argument so I don't pick the same team. Giants, they still can run the ball really well.
Yes, they can.
I haven't looked at their remaining schedule, but they might have a rally in them. If you're a good team, you're going to have a valley at some point during the season. So this is just the Giants' valley, and they're going to get hot again. So I'm going to go Giants to zag on your point. All right, Jets or Giants? You went Jets, I went Giants. The Ethan Hunt, You've Never Seen Me Upset award to the Tom Cruise movie that most represents this week in the NFL. I went Jerry Maguire for this reason. A lot's going on this week from Thursday to Sunday, and a lot goes on in the movie Jerry Maguire, almost to the point where you have to say, all right, I'll just watch this movie again later. I got to figure out what's going on with Rod Tidwell. Right. Jerry Maguire and Renee Zellweger got a thing going. Oh, what's going on with Kush?
Kush. Yeah, that's a huge story with Kush.
There's those interstitials where Jerry Maguire's like mentor agent is doing like a one-on-one with the camera. There's a lot going on in that movie. And it's ultimately an enjoyable movie, but that's how this week was. There was Thursday games, Thursday night games, there was Sunday games. You're sort of dipping in with some college football Saturday because that season's ending. Yeah. A lot going on, but all good production in all of it.
Yeah, I like that.
I like Jerry Maguire this week.
I'm going Top Gun, and the Top Gun being He's the top gun. Patrick Mahomes is the top gun in the NFL right now.
Oh, wow.
I'm switching. I'm taking Josh Allen off the perch.
Ooh, interesting.
You know I love Josh Allen.
Good call. I know you love Josh Allen. Yes. All right. That brings us to who won the week. I have 3 nominees this week for who won the week. Number 1, did the Packers win the week by not having to bench Aaron Rodgers? Now they can just say he's injured. Did they?
That's a solid statement there.
Also, there was a point in that game where Jordan Love had a touchdown pass, and the coach goes right up to him on the bench, and he's talking to him all energetic. I'm like, this coach is finally, I can coach up my quarterback now. I can talk to him without the quarterback telling me to F off. I can be a coach again. This is great.
I like that one too.
I got Packers. Did Kirk Cousins win the week? I don't know if you saw him do the turkey leg celebration after the game, but Kirk Cousins is smiling, talking about getting a grill for his teeth. Kirk Cousins might be the most likable man in America.
I can't disagree with any of these because Kirk Cousins took a beating after getting destroyed by Dallas, and then just to come back a few days later on a short week and get a win. Yeah, he shut a lot of people up quick.
Yeah, he finally got the monkey off his back of performing on a primetime game at night. So maybe Cousins won the week. And then final nominee for who won the week. How about Cholesterol won the week? I think Cholesterol had a great week.
That's levels are its highest.
Yeah, I got that. And I'm going to give it to Cousins. Cousins won the week.
I'll second that. Yeah, that was a big week.
Okay, you're going to agree with Cousins. All right, very good. Well, that is week, what are we at, week 12?
Week 12, yeah.
We kind of said the unofficial start of the season started, 2 weeks ago with November football. So that's week 12 in the NFL. However, the week is not over because we still have Monday night. Monday night, we have quite possibly the most boring game in Monday night history. Pittsburgh at Indianapolis, Omar, 3-7 versus 4-6-1. Which would you rather be a fan of?
Right now, I'd much rather be a fan of the Steelers because of their history.
Oh.
But not right now.
Do either of these teams have a shot this year?
No, none.
Favorite Pittsburgh player?
Of all time or right now?
Go all time.
All time? I was thinking about that. On defense, Troy Polamalu.
Oh, did not see that coming.
Oh, but he was something special. And then I never got a chance to see him play, but just his personality, he's a Steeler to me. Terry Bradshaw.
Favorite Indianapolis player?
Of all time, Peyton Manning. Manning, yeah.
Easy one. Couple more. Is there anything watchable at all about this game?
No, and I'm not going to watch.
Wow. Hard pass from Omar.
There's a lot going on. It's been a
lot. This is a put up the Christmas decorations game.
There's nothing.
That's the only way this is going to be on.
Right. All that is going to be is you can end the conversation broadcasting right away because it's both teams that should be preparing for the future next year.
Yeah. Well, next question, what are you going to do instead of this game? Are you doing laundry? Are you helping kids with homework? Are you going to
get some homework in? Camilo's got catechism. We'll finish up homework. Whatever he didn't finish before catechism, we'll finish it up. And I may go to bed early.
He's going to bed early. Wow. Go to bed early game.
Maybe a yoga sesh.
Oh, geez. More in your midnight yoga.
Hey, but you know what? I will say one of the most memorable games in my lifetime, the playoff game, the Steelers when they beat the Colts in the the championship game. The year that the Steelers beat the Seahawks, I believe that was the 2005.
Oh, yeah.
And that Oh, just that
Oh,
fumble.
the Bettis fumble,
Pettis
Vanderjack.
fumbled it, and they just clip. Was it Big Ben that clipped his shoe?
Oh, now I'm remembering. Right, he's running back, and Big Ben takes a swipe at his feet.
And Peyton
Yeah.
and they get close enough for a field goal, and Vanderjagt, who was automatic at that time, misses.
Right. God, never leave it down to your kicker's foot.
Oh, that was bad. And then Vanderjagt turned out being one of the biggest assholes in the NFL, right? And like there was like,
Didn't they get rid of him the next year?
and Peyton finally had enough and just called him like an idiot kicker in the to the press, and that didn't end well.
He was gone. Whatever happened to Vanderjack? Did he go to a different team? I don't think he did. I think he's gone.
I want to say he's Canadian. Send him back to Canada.
Wow, him and Bobby A. Bear or somewhere.
Yeah,
we don't know where. All right. Well, I don't know if this is worth it or not, but call the game.
I'll go 10-6, a boring 10-6.
Damn, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be 10-6.
And I'll go with the Colts on that one.
Wow. Somehow this has been the least anticipated game all year, and somehow we spent the most time on it.
There you go.
Well, that's how we do it. We tend to dive into the minutia of games, don't we? You saw how mad I got about black uniforms.
I know, that's true. You don't like them.
Don't like them. Raiders won. It's all fun for me right now. Well, that was week 12 in the NFL. Omar Carmona, we survived Thanksgiving somehow. Your team won. My team won.
Yep.
For the Sunday Night Talk, for Omar Carmona, for me, Patrick Mears. See everybody next week. Okay, that is it. That is the show for week 12, the Sunday Night Talk. How was your Thanksgiving? Did you survive? Was it the most enjoyable string of 3 days you've ever had? Did you eat too much? Are you centered? If you're not, talk to Omar. Apparently he knows how to get centered. Anyway, if you want to see me doing live stand-up comedy, 3 great chances in December, because December 8th, I'm in North Hollywood at the Zombie Joe's Theater. December 10th, I am at the Good Night in Burbank, and December 17th, I am at the Glendale Room. So hit me up if you're coming. Not to mention, if you're new to the channel, or if you've listened to the channel but you've never subscribed, do it now. Click the subscribe button. It helps the channel. I appreciate it. So, what have we learned for week 12? We've learned quite a bit. Is it time to tank? Not yet. Is it time to get rid of overtime? We're not sure. Is Omar quite possibly the most insane person who's ever watched football? I'm going to leave that up to you. You make your own decisions on that. But you saw the games. That was enjoyable. Aaron Rodgers and his crazy eyes. Arizona and the sad season. Las Vegas and the feisty overtime wins. Let's get ready for the second half of the season and non-stop drama. It's only getting better. Thank you for listening, everybody. For Omar Carmona, for me, Patrick Ramirez, on the Sunday Night Talk. Thank you and good night. See you next week.